Hello, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the live Facebook training in this group this evening. And I'm just jumping on, just making sure that all the tech is working for me. Today, I'm actually trying out a set of headphones. So let me know if you cannot hear me because of the set of headphones. That would be not good. That would not be good. Okay, so let me pop into the Facebook group on my phone here for a second. And groups. Okay, here we are. Okay, if you're here, give me a thumbs up. Awesome. Todd, Michelle, Brady. I always have to say the whole name. Sorry, Michelle. Just Michelle. I can hear you. Perfect. Hello, says Anne. Thank you, ladies. Okay, awesome. Now that I know the tech is working and the headphones are not such a bad thing after all, trying to dumb down my tech, but hey. Anyways, the topic for today, which I chose this afternoon, and by the way, if you ever have something that you wish to dive into, a topic that I haven't even covered before, please suggest it to me. I am so open to suggestions. You have no idea, because I could talk about so many different things, and I feel sometimes that I'm like here and there, and so again, I'm here for you. So if there's ever something that you want to hear me talk about, perfect. Hi, Gail. Awesome. And Michelle. Perfect. Okay, let's dive into the word patience. And I don't mean the hospital kind of patience. I'm actually referring to the term patience in the way that we would describe somebody. Patience. And here's the funny or interesting part with that word, is I remember hearing this phrase, you either have it or you don't. You either have it or you don't. And I don't know if that's really a true saying that's still to this day, but I remember hearing it way back when. Way back when, actually, it came to me as a saying, as a description of me from my grade 6 elementary school teacher. It was something that she discussed in front of the classroom, actually. I remember her saying, patience, you either have it or you don't. And I truly have no idea what exactly she was describing. Who knows, we could have been working on a project that was taking a little bit longer, or maybe we're practicing for a play, because those days you did plays right in front of the gym as a year-end kind of finale. But I remember about a week later getting my report card, and lo and behold, in the comments section, my teacher had said, Sue has wonderful patience. And it stuck. It stuck with me. I was so elated. I was so thrilled to kind of almost like have her approval, if you can say. And this identity was born in me. This identity of being patient was born in me. Totally just made my day, probably, back then. And so with researching for this article, I thought I should share a quote that I found by Bryan Adams. He's not or any relation to the singer, by the way. It's probably dating me. But anyways, this quote by Bryan Adams says, impatience breeds anxiety, fear, discouragement, and failure. Patience creates confidence, decisiveness, and a rational outlook, which eventually leads to success. So here's the thing. When I first heard about the PN coaching program myself, like 10 plus years now ago, wow. When I first heard the course, the program was 6 months long. One of the first thoughts that I had was, I can do that because I've got patience. I kind of like didn't discredit being able to do it because I had impatience. I recognized and I remembered this identity that was given to me of being a patient person. So 6 months, yeah, I could do 6 months. Lo and behold, I couldn't do 6 months because I don't know if you're familiar with my story, but I jumped into the program at a very wrong time in my life, and that was during my second year at university. So there was no way that I could do it. So I waited to the second round came, and it was now a year long. So JB had shifted it from being just a 6-month coaching program to a year long. So, but hey, no worries. I was done pretty much. I was pretty much done the school. And so I said, sure, I've got patience. Like, I mean, again, it's that whole idea, right? We make decisions based on what we know our strong suits are. So I signed up again and had another coach. And yeah, that's a whole nother story. But let's go back to something that was mentioned when I was in grade 6, right? So at 11 years of age, imagine this, at 11 years of age, I was told something that I didn't know about myself, meaning I was told that I had patience. And what's confusing is when I did this program second time around, I actually learned that I did not have patience towards me. I took the truth from that teacher because in reality, when we're still creating our identity at age 11 years of age, I trusted that the teacher knew that what she was talking about. What I didn't realize was that she was talking about I had patience for other people. Because again, a teacher tells the truth, right? I mean, at that age, we only have so many role models that we look towards to getting information about ourselves, right? We don't have an owner's manual, and we certainly don't have a crystal ball. So we believe what our parents tell us, our grandparents tell us, and people of authority like our teachers, right? And maybe the clergy at church. I don't know. But anyways, all I know is when I started doing the program and I realized that I did not have the patience for myself, my world started shaking and cracking up, really. So what I ended up doing was a lot of research into the self-help world. And what I came across was this quote that I just finished reading you, right? That talked about the discouragement, right? Because if you have impatience, you have discouragement, you have failure, have fear, and what else did it say? Anxiety, right? So I saw those qualities in myself through the program. And I thought, I've got impatience. I don't have patience. What was the teacher talking about? Like, I can't believe this. This is all wrong, right? So I dived into the self-help world and realized that with this one author, his name is Simon Foster, and his book is called Manifesting Change. And one of his quotes in it says, "One of the paradoxes of life is that being impatient often makes it harder to achieve something. As with any skill, you get better at manifesting the more you practice." And it was a kind of that idea that it's patience is a skill. And they talked, obviously PN talks about habits, right, as that being a skill. And now they have shifted the word habits into practices. So it's really making more sense now. But it's really letting you know that patience needs to be practiced just as much as any other skill that you are learning, right? It is, it's a virtue, as you probably have heard in the past. Patience is a virtue, and I feel that it's not an all or nothing, as in you have it or you don't have it. there are ways to cultivate it. And so that's what I wanted to share with you today. If you find that you are getting a little bit, discouraged, the failure pieces are starting to come every now and again, right? Know that it's actually possible, so possible to get yourself into this patience idea or cultivating a skill of patience for yourself. And the first thing that the number one way to cultivate patience, and you probably already know this, and that is to slow down, right? It kind of just alludes to that is the most logical thing to do. If you want to have patience, you just got to slow down, for sure. You have to slow down. And if that seems too difficult of a strategy for you, then maybe can I suggest that you just stop and ask yourself, what am I in a hurry for? What's the reason to rush something? Why is it necessary to get home 5 minutes earlier than being 5 minutes later, right? What's the whole idea about being in such a rush, right? Slow down, slow down. And you'll find yourself, if you practice that, especially if on our way home from work, right, we get into this rush. I feel the rush hour traffic, right? It really kind of eludes the impatience, right? Just by coining that phrase, rush hour traffic. Instead, if you can cultivate yourself to slow down, even with going over the speed limit, right? I have a practice of 4 or 5 kilometers over the speed limit. That's me. But again, I've taken years to develop that skill. So just giving you some tips here, how to cultivate your own patience. Second thing is to enjoy the little moments just as much as the bigger moments, right? So bigger moments could be a job promotion, right? Or again, being able to run a 5K or whatever habit or practice that you are kind of noticing in yourself, right? What if you shifted the focus towards just the littler moment, right? The practice of the skill itself, or breaking it down into a much more doable thing, for sure. All right, so that's the second way. The third way to develop or cultivate some more patience for yourself, hang around with some people who have some patience. And I feel that we all know people who are not that quality. So if you're not too sure, they probably do have a little bit more patience shining through them. It might not be so evident right away. So, finding yourself other people to hang around with that do have the patience, or if that's not available, maybe start doing yoga or even a yoga practice that has a meditation piece in it, because that will certainly help you find patience for sure. Okay. Any questions so far? I'm not going too fast, I hope. Hi, Maddie. Thanks for jumping on. Awesome. Okay. Gail says, mine was more, you need more patience, Gail. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing how you could remember those kind of things right from your childhood and what you were told about yourself. Okay. Back into the last two ideas to help you cultivate patience is focus on the short-term goals to reach the long-term ones. And that's very similar to the little moments versus the big moments, for sure, right? Because I kind of alluded to some goals before, but again, with weight loss in particular, right? If that's something that you're struggling with, maybe you're deciding for yourself you're not to have any sugary treats or none of the heavy carb type foods, right? Give yourself that little bit of a stepping stone first. Well, what would be the stepping stone before taking away all the sugary foods, right? Maybe it would be starting to bake with stevia, right? Or again, there's monk fruit as far as a type of artificial sugar. Well, it's a real sugar, but it's not artificial. Stevia is more artificial than monk fruit. But anyway, I digress. But it's that idea of, taking a smaller step first before doing the bigger step. Okay. And the last one is to think of the things that you've actually gained by being patient. And this one is a more of a personal one for sure, because everybody is different in their journey of discovering their own patience. But for myself, when I started into the self-help world, I really realized that I was able to actually hone in on the patient skill that I had for others, and slowly be able to shift my mindset and apply it to me. And that was a big thing. That was a big thing, because I realized that practice, practice, practice was truly the crux of the program. And the more that I practiced it, the more that I learned about myself, and the more I was able to kind of like, well, that didn't work. What's next, right? Being open to discovering what the next step would be, or, you know, asking my coach for help in that. But again, yeah, that's what I have for you today in this idea of patience, and discovering or getting some more patience for yourself. Because again, if you're in the program that feels like, okay, well, it's 10 months long, oh my goodness, you know, how am I ever going to get through this, right? That's normal to have that statement come through, but I thought I would share this with you to really kind of just be aware. Again, our society is so on this fast pace, right? And it's a hard thing. Our society is all about the convenience, right? The do now, the convenience kind of things, right? Our drive-throughs, you know, all the fast foods that we have surrounding us. I mean, even think about when you go to a website and it takes you longer than 5 seconds for it to load. Do you stay and wait, or do you actually click on the X and leave, right? So again, this whole idea of practicing patience in any little way that you can will actually pay off in the long run, right? Going back to that quote by Simon Foster, you know, as with any skill, you get better at manifesting the more you practice. Okay, so I hope you guys found this helpful. Just let me know in the comments below if you have any questions, or if you have something that you would like me to cover. I would certainly appreciate you sending me a message here in the group in this link, or even a private message. I'm fine with that. Email, it all works. All right, ladies, thank you for hanging out with me again on a Tuesday night. And I will see you next week, Tuesday night again at 7:30. Okay, Coach Sue signing off. Bye for now.